Baobab. And just so beautiful because we get to ask Jeri, hey, a few more questions and to tell us some of those stories of hope. So, just as kind of a backdrop, Jeri hails from the United States of America and traveled many times to countries like Botswana, Swaziland, or Eswatini as it's now known, and had incredible experiences. So, Jeri, thank you to you and Bill for sticking around a little bit longer to be able to share some of these stories of hope. One of the things you said in your interview was that importance of making time. A lot of people say, I don't have time, myself included. I've actually try to work that out of my language, out of my response. Oh, I don't have time for this, or I don't have time for that. No, no, no. I'm actually choosing not to. And so we need to make time to sit and reflect on our day. But also, you spoke about community. Jeri, share some of those stories of hope that you experienced firsthand, please.
I saw so many communities where neighbors helped one another, where extended family helped one another. I saw children raising children when both parents had died. One boy at the age of 14 started caring for his brothers and sisters. He was 16 when we saw him. I saw so many stories of people sharing food. Today, I have extra. I will bring some butternut to you because you know what? In 2 days' time, I might not have. So the preciousness of ownership, we're all just passing through. And many of the people I worked with, especially when they're seeing the devastation, 50% of Botswana's population at the time was thought to have been infected with HIV. 50%. We look at this room. If you're in a boardroom right now or a classroom, cut the room in half and say half of the people. So everybody pulled together. Everybody helped one another. When a family member died, I will take your 2 children. I'm your sister, I'm your sister-in-law, whatever. I will take your children. If something should happen to me, I hope my brother or sister will now take 5 children on board. And people did this without a thought. This is what's needed. We'll eat less. Okay. It was just the most stunning way to look at how do we get through a very hard time.
It is so beautiful. I
That
think,
is amazing.
just bringing that back, like you said, Jeri, if there's a family that needs something, why not just go out there and say, I can help. And like you also mentioned, why not take the 2 extra children in? Because a lot of times we see in communities that sadly the parents are no longer there and the kids are just left. They end up
the
on streets.
orphanage or wherever. Yeah, sure.
It was a huge idea of all the children are my children. And what a way to raise children to say, your child is as important as mine, that they all need love and care. Children do better with lots of adults loving them. I say the more adults you have loving you, the better, the stronger you grow up.
Sure, that's beautiful. And in terms of your experiences in Africa, one of the things you mentioned is that, coming from the West, where the United States of America, probably one of the richest countries in the world. And, we as South Africans, we look at the States and we see the movies and we see, so many things. And as Africans, we can easily feel, oh, but we're just so poor. But there's such value and there are so many incredible people living on this massive continent. You must have met some amazing people. Would you share some more stories about those?
I met many amazing people, not just youngsters who were raising families. I wanted to write the book so people would know the average man or woman that you don't get to, that doesn't have a name in this world, is mightily important in touching many, many lives. The same way many people who are listening to this have touched lives. Their name is never going to be up in lights. And yet the effect that they have on others is huge. We each have that opportunity. I wanted people to know. Many times people in the West think, oh, this is a hopeless continent. It is not hopeless. It is young. It is full of drive. It is full of desire. It is full of happiness, which doesn't come from stuff. All right? It is full of happiness. You've seen it. You've heard it. Just the music. All right? The music in good times and bad times. I had one friend who read the book, and she is a singer, and she was very touched by. I was working in a camp one of the safari camps in Botswana where we treated all the workers. And so we were leaving the camp, and we stopped at a place and picked up a woman. The whole camp came out to say goodbye to her. She had been working there for 5 years, and everybody sang her out. This was a new concept to a Westerner.
Yeah.
And she, as a musician, was very touched by this. So there are moments in the book that I will compare to things in my past and my childhood, quite a long time ago, in a very different America that wasn't as materialistic, that was much more equal than things are right now in America. So it was a simpler, easier time where lots of adults looked after lots of children, which I've just mentioned. And that's a really important thing. It's a really important thing to grow healthy people, to have lots of different role models. I can remember in my neighborhood, my dad was a sporty one. Another doctor down the street was very intellectual. We had a fun-loving mom. We had the very serious mom. There was a mom you would go to talk to if you were afraid to talk to your own mom about things. Can you think how lovely this is for me to have 5 role models on my street, for my brother to have 5 male role models on his street? This is important for young people. It's important for all of us. So we all have, I think we have an obligation to each other.
Yeah.
And I watched this many, many times in the communities in Africa. And again, each of us has a different role to play in our community. Maybe you make people laugh. Maybe you make people think. Sometimes something that seems small is very, very big to somebody else. I remember I was working with a very, very aged old man, and I looked at his community where he had the number of small homes nearby. He had 5 generations of people beneath him that would stop and visit, that would make sure his day was sweet when he's 90 years old. That's a nice thing. I can think of lots of lonely elderly people. Not how it should be. We're supposed to have all age groups, and nothing is more gorgeous than an infant on a grandmother's lap.
Yeah.
Nothing is more beautiful. When I say it, you're both smiling because the picture of it makes us all happy.
Exactly.
Because it's a real, true, natural thing that ought not to be forgotten. We have to get back to community. This is what makes humans humans. And as I said earlier, humankind is humankind because of each other, because of community. And kind is a big part of this humankind.
That is so beautiful. If you just tuned in, we're chatting to Jeri Russell, and she's an author of this incredible book, A Bluebird in a Baobab, and really just loving the conversation. As we kind of start to wrap up now, Jeri, really inspired by what you are sharing. And in that regard, I think a lot of people saying, but I've got bills to pay, and there's so much pressure, but we also are our own worst enemies. So as a senior person, if you don't mind me calling you that, speak to us younger generations, because it's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, and that we just run from event to event, meeting to meeting, from job to chores to job to chores, that we miss our children growing up. We're not there, and even when we are there, we're busy on our phones.
We're not there.
It's a big problem. And I'm going to say one question is, what are we busy about? How you fill your seconds is how you fill your minutes, is how you fill your hours, is how you fill your days, is how you fill your months, and how you fill your years. All right? Live it today so there's no regrets. I'm going to tell you a story about a woman in Ghana who was amazing. When she was already seated in the chair when I came in to take her case. She was sitting across from me, and in her lap she had a big bunch of plantains. She was bringing a gift to us at the clinic.
That's a kind of fruit, vegetable.
It's a big banana.
That's right.
Not quite as sweet, all right, that you
Okay,
fry up.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, so there she's got the big bunch of plantains in her lap. And when she stood up, I saw that she was the woman that I had heard about. Many people in Ghana who have been picking tubers or bending their whole life in an agricultural field, all of their life are bent. I want you to think of a paperclip. I want you to think of an
Sure.
upside down U. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Very hard,
Vegetable.
can pull her head up, but really body
Complete
so
over.
bent. When I looked at her, I'm sure she saw that I saw a little upset in my eyes. And she looked at me, and I'm going to tell you, she had black sparks in those eyes. And she looked at me and she said, "My children were never hungry."
Oh,
Yo.
And this is a woman who brought us a gift of food when she came to our clinic. All right. I know you know all about that lady from my description. You know what her life was like earlier and how it remained that way with plantains for our clinic. All right. So I saw so many amazing stories, grandmothers who never gave up, all right, on a child who looked hopeless and finally found her way to us. Listen, we need one another. And the human touch, the human voice is far more powerful than anything that comes off of that device. And all of us can remember something. An older person told us the time your mother told you a story after a bad day at school. Those are the things that spring to mind. What do you remember about yesterday's feed on your telephone? What do you remember about
Nothing.
anything you saw on your device yesterday?
Exactly.
If I say the word mom, inspiration, there's something that comes to mind for you.
Exactly.
These are the true, real things.
yeah.
And humans haven't changed enough to be far away from that.
Exactly. Sure.
Be with each other.
Be present.
Mm-hmm.
Jeri, thank you so much. You've definitely given us hope and a lot to think about. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for sharing so beautifully. And remember, ladies and gents, if you want to get a copy of this incredible book, A Bluebird in a Baobab, authored there by Jeri Lynn Johnson Russell, you can get it from Amazon or Exclusive Books, and absolutely worth getting your hands on that. Well, that's where we're going to wrap up with regard to today's hope stories. And thank you so much. Appreciate you. And God bless, Jeri.
Thank you.